What is going on? You are watching and, of course, listening to Tags Live, aka Talk About Gay Sex, the live edition, where we're here every Wednesday night on the Crowdcast platform. This is episode 687. I am your host, Stevie V, alongside, couldn't do it without him, Cody Maurice Doggett. How you doing, Cody?
Hello, darling. That's me, darling. I'm doing wonderful. Sorry, I was indisposed for a second, but I'm back now.
Hey, no worries. You are here, beautiful, and as always, we have so much to get into. A little later, we'll get into our hot topics, but we are switching things up and getting into the topics that matter for our sexuality, and we're talking about monogamy or monogamish. Yeah, more and more Americans are giving open relationships a try, Cody. And actually, I'm going to read you some stats and then we'll talk about it. 39% if basically say it's the only type of relationship I'd consider monogamy is wow. 30. That's not very big, 39%. And this is Americans, not even just LGBTQ plus. 11% say it depends on how many sexual options a person has. The more options people have, the less monogamous they are likely to be. 9% say it's aspirational but unrealistic. Another 9% say it's old-fashioned, outdated. 7% say I don't believe people can be monogamous. 7% also say I don't want to be in a monogamous relationship. 6% say it's possible for women but not for men. And 12% are undecided. This is really interesting because I really feel like there is a shift. Gen Z, of course, is the least monogamous generation to date. That's not that surprising, but they're still looking for love in a relationship. And I think that's worth noting. I think it's changed throughout the years. I mean, we've been talking about on recent episodes about patterns that we haven't dealt with as gay men, as queer men, that we didn't have examples of really healthy relationships. And many of us were robbed. In our last episode, 686, we were talking about that we didn't really get to go to the prom with the person that we really wanted to. Many of us. I'm just speaking for myself. And by the way, who did you go to the prom with?
So funny enough, I went with my friend she went to a different high school, and we worked together at Food Lion in Virginia. And sorry, but we went together. She was a girl. She's a beautiful print dress. But I also had a gay prom that I went to with. It was thrown by. I was a part of this grassroots type of organization that did like HIV testing and education and things of that nature.
But what era? When you were still 18 or 17?
When I was in 18 or 19.
That's amazing.
After I graduated high school, I was in college. So we did a whole gay prom. I ended up being prom prince. I think I think the statue is somewhere around here still. I'm not quite sure, but I have some things in storage. But yeah, so I had two proms.
That's a beautiful story, but if you can remember back to when you were actually in high school, you went with somebody, a friend. I also went with a friend to mine because I think many of us, what we were talking about on episode 686, were robbed of really even having a boyfriend, the possibility of what even that looked like. And we were talking about a sex therapist that says, as many of us were robbed of that, we're very, as you often say, immature as gay men, queer men, that because we didn't have all of that time. So if we don't look at that and look at some of our trauma, we are only going to bring a lot of that into our newer relationships. And that can go into our 40s, 50s, and later in life if it's never dealt with. And I know you know this as a former coach to the people. Well, do these stats surprise you? Because monogamish is the word right now. It doesn't, before you go, it doesn't surprise me. I've talked about it on the show. I have a fiance now. We're getting married a little bit later this year. I've been talking all about it. I'm super in love with him. He's the love of my life. I found my partner. But we have played around with a third here and there. And it took me a minute to get over the jealousy factor, as many people as I had to get over. Like, what does that mean? And I have now gotten over that. And we don't play all the time. We have sex together.
Mhm.
But once in a while, if we're out, we have. And it is what it is. And it's fun. And it's been a lot of fun. And I would say, in many ways, we are monogamish.
Okay,
That
that's
it just means that we talk about it a little bit more. I had to get over, at least for my part, the jealousy factor. And recently, we were talking to the person that's going to officiate our wedding. And when we first talked to him a few months prior, jealousy was a factor more on my
yeah.
end than his end.
You know,
And
I'm so proud of you for saying that. I love the self awareness. Come
yeah,
through.
well, I'm just being honest. And if we can't
Yeah.
be honest on this show, then where can we be to the people?
Amen.
But he asked us what has changed since the last time I talked to you. And I know you guys are getting married and I'm going to officiate the wedding in a few months. And I said, well, one of the things is we live together now and have for the last couple of months. And it's been a really good thing. I've never lived with somebody in 54 years other than
What?
roommates. I've
Yeah.
had roommates, but not
Yeah.
a
A
partner
boyfriend.
or a
Wow.
partner. No, never. Crazy, kind of crazy.
That's
And
wild to me.
it has gone really well and
Yeah.
it's strengthened our relationship. And the thing that I brought up just a second ago, jealousy, really, I mean, there's moments here and there that I'm
Yeah.
always, but I know how to
You're human.
process it a little bit more. But that is not an issue that was several months when we first talked to our officiant. And I just think monogamish for us and what the story is saying that many Americans are exploring this. And when you look at the rates of divorce, is a real thing. What do you say to this and what's going on? And by the way, we are live and we'll read some of your comments in just a few moments.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by this at all. I think that people are coming to realize that just like sexuality and gender, how you as a person relate to your relationship, that's all on a spectrum. It's not cookie cutter for every single person. Not everybody is made to be monogamous. Not everybody is made to be in an open relationship where, as far as, you know, you can sleep with whomever and it's just, I don't know. I don't want to say free for all because that makes it sound a
Yeah.
little bit, but it's definitely, there are levels to it and there are ways that you can make it work for you. And it's all about you and your partner discussing it and talking and having these conversations that allow you to actually make both of you satisfied sexually, emotionally in your relationship. And I think that's what people are discovering. It doesn't make this new generation is coming up. I feel like they have so many ideas about so many different things that are coming up for them right now, and I applaud them because back in my 20s, I was not thinking about any of this. I was thinking about probably marrying a girl if I could.
Me too. I'm on the same page with you. And there was another story that comes to mind about newer generations of young people still want to connect and want long-term relationships, but things like identities that you were referencing just a second ago are less as important. So things like how you identify,
Yeah.
whether you're polyamorous, whether you're non-binary, or even if you're not using those terms, because
Mm-hmm.
we can get a little bit too term centric, I feel at
Yeah.
times, but how you might feel feminine at sometimes and masculine at other times. You might explore being a top at sometimes and a bottom or verse or a side at other times.
Yeah.
And I think we have really become so caught up in terms and what we have to put on our profile and what that says about us, and we have to stick to that. And what I really like about monogamish is its sexuality is one thing, but finding a partner and connection is a whole different thing, and the two can coexist.
Amen.
And it just means that you have to really identify that with your partner and what that's going to look like. And it doesn't mean that it has to be embedded for life. It just means that that can change throughout time. And I think that's really cool.
I really love that you said that because for me, like right now, I say that I am a monogamously minded person. I mean, I'm a complete slut right now. I'm just having sex, but I'm not committed to anybody.
Right.
So, but if I were to be in a relationship, I would think that I would be in a monogamous relationship. But like you said, I don't limit myself to that. If it feels right for me to be in an open relationship, I get to determine those guidelines for that. So I think that I'm not closed off to it, but kind of that's where my mindset is right now.
Yeah, and for me, just to clarify, we are committed and have great sex and are so intimate, especially right now when we're planning our marriage and the intimacy is real. The thing about our monogamish right now has been when we've gone out and had fun with a third here and there. And like I talked about that jealousy I've gotten over, and it's been fun. It doesn't always work. And we have like our code that if one of us isn't feeling it, we leave the situation. And, just back to communication. But
Yeah.
the what we've been talking about on episode 686 about objectification and finding close bonds. And what we're talking about now is monogamish or not. I think people really want to connect. And that's really the end all be all. And that's really beautiful. So let's stay with
Totally.
that. I mentioned we are live, and I see people like Doug. I went with a girl based on what we were talking about a minute ago. I went with the girl I worked with at Long John Silver's. Is that like a restaurant? I feel like that's a restaurant.
It's a
Long
fast food restaurant. You
John...
ever
Oh,
heard
fast
of
food?
Long
Is
John
it?
Silver's? Yeah.
No.
Oh wow. Maybe
Is it
it's
on
just the East
the
Coast
West
thing.
Coast? East
No,
Coast?
it's probably just on the East Coast then. It's like a
I
fish.
grew up on the West
It's
Coast, so
yes, yes.
yeah.
It's like a fish place. So they sell
Okay,
fried
I
fish.
love it.
I
Yeah.
don't know. It's fried, so I don't think you would like it.
No, I love his sharing. I don't
Oh,
love
oh, you love his
fried.
comment. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
I do not like fried at all. Bryce says, I went to my junior prom with my best gal friend senior year. I went to, shut up over there, peanut gallery about fried. I went to Carnegie Hall concert. And then Stevie, what is on your bicep? Oh, yeah. Okay. So we talk about up the New York Eagle here, and this is made by Christophe. There is a cute leather store in there, and it's a leather armband, and I wear it a lot because I love it, and yeah, just feels good and right. That's that. Doug says everything is fried. I love it.
I love Long John Silver's. I used to eat it up, girl. I tartar sauce and everything, honey.
Oh,
Sorry.
gee, this is a really good time to direct you over to our tags Patreon community. You can grab a free account and you get behind the scenes coverage of things that are exclusive you won't get on social media. Like today, I posted one of my workouts that I do for abs. It's a tough one, but I give you different ways to do it, and you can just grab that. We post I'm doing a lot of recipes lately on there that you can grab on there as well. But if you want to support Tags Podcast, the show you've come to know and love, you can grab, we just posted this morning a bonus episode, all extra bonus content topics that you will only get over there. Plus, I share what it's been like this summer to live for the first time, like I mentioned before, with a bow, and I share all that. It's on a bonus episode. If you don't want to grab a tier and support us, you can just buy this one episode and you'll still be supporting us, and you'll get this 30-minute extra bonus podcast. Head over to patreon.com/tags podcast. And I love it. Bryce says, oh my God, Stevie is giving Janet Jackson's hot Cheetos.
When she didn't know what hot Cheetos were.
Okay. I'm not sure what that means, but okay, yeah. All right. Our other topic. So lately we've been giving you terms and we've been discussing what these terms mean. We've been talking about banksing on a recent episode. Banksing is really, really not good. It takes after that artist that we all know, Banksy. What the term comes from, really letting a relationship die and not really telling the other person. So not having enough nerve to really tell the other person. It's called banksing. We break it down on a past episode. Soft swapping is another term we were talking about, where within your community of friends, think the pandemic, you don't necessarily have intercourse, but you are open to swap with another couple. So think, what do the straights call it when they swap couples and that
I
whole
know
term?
this. Yeah,
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
it's
I'll think of it later.
kind of like that. We break that down. The other thing was micro cheating. What is micro cheating? We talked about an example of it. And just like that, where Nicole Ari Parker's character is micro cheating on her husband with somebody that she's working with. We'll
Swinging
let
is
you
what it's called.
swingers. Yes, all of that stuff. Well, now the new term today that we're going to break down and we're going to see if you just agree or disagree with it is called pocketing. What is pocketing, and are LGBTQ plus daters more likely to be victims of it? Basically, telling your friends about the new person you're dating, introducing them to your family, and going Instagram official, we talked about that, are huge milestones in modern dating. But what if you start noticing that your new partner isn't introducing you to anyone in their life, keeping you completely separate from their friend group, and refusing to post about you? This is the new toxic dating trend called pocketing. Wow. I mean, it's a whole thing. I was telling you in our meeting that when Diego and I first started dating, I will only share a little bit of this, that I was starting to get excited about this and
Yeah.
post some stories. And we got into a few arguments because I was like, why aren't you reciprocating? Why aren't you posting? He had his reasons, and we'll talk about some of those in a second. And they are
Okay.
legitimate reasons, and I don't think because you choose to post that you need to necessarily expect, as I've learned,
Yeah.
your partner to post on social media, because you don't necessarily know where they're at in being out, where their family is at. And that's what some of the
Mm-hmm.
things the therapists say on that. But what if you're not meeting any of their friends, Cody, but you're only introducing yours? It's called pocketing. Is this something to be alarmed about?
For me, yes, because if it would feel like it would give, I got a second family out there that I'm trying to, I'm really married and I'm on the DL and I'm just trying to have you as a little side piece of sweet sauce, special sauce over here. I would not be okay with this. I feel like if I hadn't met your friends or understood what your support system is, if you're gay, you're going to be gay if you're dating me. What your chosen family, who they are, and so it would definitely raise a red flag for me. It's never happened to me before. People are always so happy to show me off to their friends and their family. I'm actually really, really good with moms and dads and things of that nature. But I just feel like, for the most part, for me personally, I haven't really had to experience this. But for me, like if it did happen to me, I would definitely be wondering why. It would definitely be a conversation that we would have.
I feel like it goes into two categories. So there's the category of posting, which is a relatively quote unquote new term where we've talked about it on this show, soft launching, hard launching your new beau. And not everybody is either A, on social media, comfortable with posting that stuff to their people. And you shouldn't, that's just adhering to a new phenomenon that you soft hard launch. And I think I was guilty of getting a little bit of mad at that, but I was
Mm-hmm.
wrong, because I think not every, you don't know what their background and who their people are following and what that means. If on the other hand, so that's that side of it. The
Yes.
other
What?
side,
Which, if I can just interject for 2 seconds,
yeah,
I feel like for the social media thing, that is completely understandable. Some people are not into social media. Some people do not post a lot, or like you said, they have jobs to where they can't really post anybody or things of this nature. So that I can understand. It's the friends part that really kind of gets it for me. I'm sorry, continue.
yeah, and then you get into the whole thing just based on what you're saying is when to do. So let's just say you are going down that route of social media. Well, what if one person is a little bit quicker to post and the other person's like, well, I want to make sure that you're the one. and I need to see you a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? It's like one
Yeah,
person
no,
might
I
be,
get it.
and what if you just went on a couple dates and they're already posting, but you're like, hold on a second, I
Hold
need to
on
see if
now.
I, yeah. So it gets into a little dicey. So the social media, I think people should take a little bit of a backseat and calm down on that. Where if you're not finding out about their story, and we realize different relationships come in different packages. There's international dating, there's people from different cultures that you have to, there's religion often that you have to keep in mind. But you should be having those conversations within your relation, those early conversations, to find out that maybe they are of a certain religion, or but it would be nice to know a little bit about who your family or chosen family is, and
Yeah.
do they know about me.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think that that is the most troubling part of pocketing. I feel like if you do not have a grasp on who they are as a person, at least by kind of seeing how they've been raised or what surrounds them, the people
How
around
they've
them
been
tell
raised.
you
Wow.
they tell you a lot about how a person can operate. So I really that those dynamics you get a sense of how they're going to be treating you. There's so much that's involved in that. Now the social, if I could take it back to social media for 2 seconds, because for me, while it wouldn't raise any like red flags, it would raise yellow flags. Because why are you not posting me? Because I'm very postable, okay? I'm very photogenic, honey. And
Well, but see, that's, I can stop you there. It's not that you're beautiful or not beautiful or hot or not hot. It's
wait, did
that
you call me
what,
beautiful? Thank you.
yeah, it's just that what if, for example, they are not out to their parents and
Yes.
their parents follow them, and now they're going to be beautiful, not whatever. It doesn't matter. You're a man, and they haven't necessarily made that proclamation.
I get that, but also it would be a conversation that I would have to have in order for me to feel uh, like it's not a shot against me, like it's not a slight against me. So and also it would bring to light a lot of the insecurities or the things that he's going with his family, that are going on with his family. So it would be a good conversation to have. So
It's a
always
great
be on the lookout.
conversation. Yeah. And I think it's a really interesting, relevant conversation pocketing to have, because when any of us meet somebody that we're excited about, if you're on any kind of social media, whether you post every day or you post here and there, you, if you are on social media, you kind of want to announce it. And there is that
Yeah.
thing called, um, what did I call it before? Soft launching, hard
Yes.
launching, and all that. You can get so caught up in that that you forget about what your partner really is about and what they think either. So it is relevant. It is something that you got to consider in today's day. One more thing you got to like add to the mix, people. It's not
Right.
enough to, you got to find
Gosh.
somebody, but then you got to like, are we hard soft launching
Are
this
we hard?
shit?
Yes, that's the question
Yeah,
we should be
I know. Are we
asking.
hard? Yeah, hopefully you're hard. And let's move on, because there is some good news for our health. Yeztugo. Yes, I hope I'm saying that right. Yeztugo is an FDA approved new chapter in HIV prevention, brought to us by the people that have brought us so many things. Gilead. The US has approved the world's only twice a year shot, Yeztugo, or lenacapavir, to prevent HIV, according to Gilead Science. And what's really cool about this is that we might actually see this, Cody, come to fruition. You might not have to actually have, according to Gilead, insurance. It would actually mean, because it's shown 100% effective, that you would get,
100%.
just
That's
like
wild.
going to the dentist, you would just get a shot every 6 months. So these daily pills that you have to take that sometimes people forget, or those dosages that we've talked about where you take two, one, two, you wouldn't even have to worry about that. You would just, like the dentist, go twice a year to get these shots, and it would be 100% effective. It would reduce, like we were talking about, Representative Garcia on episode 686, where he's worried about all of these HIV programs preventative measures that would save lives that he's fearful of, that the Trump administration is implementing under the radar, that it would prevent this. And it might not even mean that only a certain select group would get this. Like I said, Gilead is going to make it available to all of us if this, once this moves forward. I think this is really game changing and would bring our numbers down. And the idea that you could just get a twice yearly shot, wouldn't you just do that? And isn't this great news?
No, it's fantastic. This is, like you said, game changing, life changing. So many people's lives are going to be impacted by this in a positive way, I feel like, especially because Gilead is making themselves readily available to the public, and they're really doing the right thing. And especially in these times, I think that that is something that is so admirable. So I really applaud Gilead for making this readily available. Something I'm actually kind of curious about, and I would like to honestly write to them and see what the implications are for people that are already positive. I know that this is something that is it's for people that are negative in order to prevent them from getting HIV. But from what I was reading, I think that there are applications. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. For people that are actually living with the virus as well. So I really wonder.
I kind of understood that too, that
okay, good.
There's another version too that would just currently many people that are living with HIV take either a daily pill, or there might be also like a shot like this that would also we're speculating on this, but we're analyzing this story, and that's what I understand as well. Okay. We will continue to report on this because that was a little unclear on those that are already, have HIV and that are keeping it at bay. But this is really good news. It would be something that I would sign up for, especially as here in America, many health insurances are going to be taken away according to the new big bill. And if it is, how would you?
This episode brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Shifting a little money here, a little there, and hoping it all works out? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can get a better budgeter and potentially lower your insurance bill too. You tell Progressive what you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll help find you options within your budget. Try it today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
Get this. Well, this is something that Gilead is saying they would provide at clinics and so forth for free, and you could just apply for this. This is really good news. If you didn't have to worry about it for every 6 months, I think this is a really good thing. We'll continue to report on how this gets outlaid for all of us. And I'm really excited. Okay, a couple more topics. We're doing really good in our new format, Cody, because we have one more thing that we wanted to get to, because VPNs, you know what a VPN is? A virtual private network, are becoming more and more popular. I learned about them in Puerto Vallarta when people were going around. You can't watch certain things when I go to Puerto Vallarta, and but you can with the VPN. Well, VPNs are becoming more popular to download as age verification laws are kicking in Europe. Here in America, Apple's App Store in the UK has you cannot get on there without verifying for things like Pornhub, Reddit, X. They're requiring age verifications of the users. And oftentimes what that means is you have to put in your ID and a whole lot of things. And where does that ID go? It starts to get a little dicey on how much you have to share to prove that you are of age. Or do you just want to get a VPN and circumvent around it? Well, those are really going up, VPNs. As of Monday morning, half of the top 10 free apps in Apple's app download charts in the UK appeared to be for VPN services. And one app maker told the BBC it had seen an 1,800% spike in downloads. Virtual private networks can connect users to websites using a remote server and conceal their actual IP address and location, meaning they can circumvent blocks on particular sites or content. Are you getting a VPN, Cody? What's the deal?
I might have to, if only to watch all the Drag Race episodes on.
Is that going to be blocked?
Well, you know what? If you're in America, and I really don't kind of want to go down this rabbit hole because it's not what we're talking about. If you're in America, you don't get to watch certain franchises for free. But if you're in the UK or some other place, then they allow for you to watch it. So the VPN is good for that too, for throwing your location to another place. But I think this is great. I think that people should be looking into this because it will only allow them to be more free on the internet. And that's what the internet should be. It shouldn't be about limiting what you can actually learn or see or visualize out there in the world. Yes, I get that they're trying to protect the children, but that's the parents' responsibility. I don't think that's really the government's responsibility to protect people's children, honestly. And how are they protecting when they can honestly just go get a VPN or log into with using a fake ID or their parents' information or anything like that? So I don't think that all of these widespread laws that are supposed to be limiting us in this day and age are actually for the children. I think they're just to try and control the population.
We're trying a bunch of new things, and I would love it. I invited Doug to the stage, who says
come on up, Doug.
And Doug, if you're feeling it, we would love for you to come to the stage and explain how your VPN works. But no pressure. But for those that don't know, VPN is virtual. Bryce says virtual penis navigation now. Colby watching us live says also, if phone companies can't protect our data, I don't trust the third-party ID verification. Good point, Doug. This invitation is out there. If you want to explain your VPN, the invitation is out there. Feel free to come to the stage, but again, no pressure. Oh my gosh, so much to get into. And one last topic that we're all a little bit annoyed right now with all of the apps, and I couldn't help but think of an app that is, I think, doing it right. I had the story here, and I can't find it. Cody, do you have it?
I do.
Oh my goodness.
Do you want me to try and read it?
Yes. Can you please? Because I think
All right, I'm intoxicated. We're gonna see how this goes, okay? I drank too fast. So with the new the app that we're highlighting today is Jacked. It's redefining the queer dating and queer dating in the community in general. Dating apps often get a reputation for being all about the quick fix. And sure, sex is always going to happen, but this is the LGBTQ plus community we're talking about, and no one is shaming a good time. Now, Jacked is all about diversity, and that's its buzzword. It's baked into the app's foundation. Whether you're looking for friendship, love, or that elusive something more, the space welcomes everyone across the spectrum of identity and experience. It's also built for us by us, and it's a standout feature of it is that they support the community. While some apps can feel like popularity contests or scenes dominated by narrow standards of beauty, Jacked promotes authenticity and genuine connection.
Yeah, that's great, Cody. Thank you. So one of the things that we talked about in our meeting was that they are for the community, like you mentioned, but they will do things within whatever city you live in. You can go on there and find events that are happening. And we often talk about, well, how do I connect with people and how do I get together? They are about relationships. They are about hookups. They are about romance. But they also do events, and they will connect with local people like us. I'm thinking of reaching out to them. They are created by and for us, and by and for us, I mean queer creators, not a straight man that is running this business. And what I also like about them is that they are for Black and Brown communities as well.
That's right.
What do you say to that? Would you head over to Jacked, and when we spell Jacked, it's JACK''D.
Yep, that's right. Thanks. And I just signed up for it. I used to be on it a long time ago. Back
I
when I
mean,
was
you're
out.
jacked right now, so
That I am, darling. Back when I was out in the streets, I used to be on Jack, Scruff, and Grinder all the time. But now, I've limited it just to Grinder,
yeah.
but I just signed up for Jack today. Yeah, I'm gonna see how it goes, and I'll report back to you. I'm your roving reporter on Jacked.
I like it. I like that there's alternatives and that they're really stepping up to the plate for diversity. And I think that's what we really need right now. Inclusivity is another word that we read
Yeah.
in our meeting about Jack. And I don't know, check it out. We are, we have I will reach out to them to try and get a representative on the show so that they can state their case. We are by no means really like promoting them other than it's an alternative.
It did sound like we were though, right?
It did a little bit, but yeah, I know. Somebody that we're not. Oh, all right. Let's get into hot topics, and there's a bunch of them. And we're going to do the Grindr reversing course.
Let's do it. Are you ready? Are you ready for that one? I don't know if we're ready for that one.
Should we just skip it right now?
Are we afraid to do that one? I don't know. Do we have a handle on it? I have a lot to say. I have a lot to say.
Okay. So we talked about Jack. Let's talk about Grindr. They're always in the news. Grindr just reversed course after issuing maybe its most controversial update, and users have a lot to say. What are we talking about? Well, recently there was a post about Grindr. Just as of Monday this week, Grindr is reversing course after waiting in contentious geopolitical issues. What? How is Grindr political? Well, after blocking users from writing the phrase "No Zionists," Zionist refers to people that are for the Jewish religion, the positivity, correct, Cody, of the Jewish religion.
They are for an Israeli state.
And that has been going on for years and years and years.
Yes,
Zionists.
yes,
That just didn't come about. So
they're Jewish people that are for a Jewish state.
Correct. And it started in the 40s, and it was all about the positivity of Jewish post Nazism, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, somebody writing No Zionist on their profile might be talking about what's currently going on in Palestine related to Israel. So it might have a different meaning. And some people are accusing it of being anti-Semitic. After blocking users from writing the phrase "No Zionists" in their profiles, the Hookup app is retracting it now as of Monday night. According to a spokesperson, the policy was implemented following users' escalation around the potentially inflammatory nature. I'm reading their words, said the spokesperson. We regularly examine our moderation policies and recently decided to reverse this one upon review. Why did they reverse it? So now basically what we're telling you is, as of Monday night, so they blocked it, then they said you can now say "No Zionists" on your profile. Why did they do that Monday night? Well, we think, according to this article, because there's a lot of speculation, that you can actually say things on your profile today: no blacks. You can say things like "no FFA." What does that mean? Fats, femmes, and Asians. That has been allowed for a long time. So the fact that we talked about it in our meeting earlier this evening, that we think that, they got all up in arms and everybody was making a big deal because it's a hot political topic about what's going on in Israel and Palestine, that people are now putting that term, the term being that I just mentioned, no Zionists. So they immediately took it down and said, you can't say that. But then upon further review, they're saying, oh, wait a minute.
And criticization.
We're hypocrites if we allow no blacks, no femmes, no fats, no all these other things. And so now it's being allowed. Are they getting way too involved in politics? Or is this the state of the affairs right now? And why are they allowing no blacks, no femmes, and then allowing this? And I mean, are they being hypocritical, and did they see their own making of this huge problem? Should they have I guess my question is, should they have just from the get-go said no derogatory language towards a certain group of people from the get-go? They should have just said a long time ago, no, you can't say things against a certain group of people on your profile. And then we wouldn't even be talking about this.
Exactly. They should have implemented that a long time ago, in my personal opinion. And that way that we wouldn't be having this discussion. Like you said, I have a lot of opinions on this. I'm glad that they rescinded that, because if I can receive hate on Grindr, everybody should be able to get some smoke. Okay. If I could be called all kinds of names on Grindr, everybody can catch a fade. Okay. And you know what? Personally, you know what really troubles me is that they allowed no Jews to be put in profiles, but they disallowed no Zionists. And I think that's really telling of where they're coming from in their thought process about this. It's a very charged topic right now. And I have to say that I would not want to sleep with an extremist of any nature. And that's how I view Zionists. I think I view them as extremists at this point. So I can understand why some people are putting this in their profile. I don't think I would put it in my profile. I think it's something that is very deep,
and you would have to get to know people. It's a connection app. It is a sex app at best. And why are you putting any of these things in your profile? At the end of the day, like, are we screening people for... Like, you should be more worried about, are you a homophobic person and looking out for your safety versus, like, it's sex. Like, I don't want to know these things in my sex world. I don't need to know where you fall on the spectrum of all this stuff. And for apps, this is the product of what we said would happen years ago when we started to do these apps, when we allow people to say what they want to say, and free speech. And then now we're talking about a sex hookup app, for better or for worse, that now is finding themselves in this rut of, oh, well, we can allow this, but we can't allow this. Oh, well, we allowed this, but now we have to retract and now allow. It's like we're talking about hookup and sex, and people run amok with writing these things on their profile. If I saw something on that, I would not only ignore them, I would block. I don't even know if I would have the energy to block them unless they reached out to me. Because if you're going to make a hookup sex app political, I don't want to even I would just ignore you. Like, I don't even have enough energy to block you. I just think, like, this is becoming so ridiculous that now we are having this conversation about blocking and not blocking. I just think it's dumb.
I feel like a lot of people really think that the views of certain people, they're not aligned with. So I get it. I understand if people want to put something like that in their profile, because it's not about Jewish people, because, I would have sex with a lot of Jewish people. I think it's more about the ideology that goes on in Zionism. So I don't know.
And it's also, I feel like when we looked at the term, it's not even knowing what the term really means. It was created years ago for anti-Nazism,
for Jewish
for
pride.
creating pride in the Jewish culture. Doug, watching us live, who is Jewish,
yes.
Thank you so much. If you're welcome to come up to the stage too and explain.
You've been invited.
Just put it in. We haven't invited you yet, but put it in the comment section if you want to come explain more, because we would love to hear from you. But let me read your comment first. I'm Jewish. If someone has no Zionist on their profile, I know just to skip. If someone has no Zionists on their profile, I know it's what I was saying. Right. If you start getting too political on a sex app, basically, I'm just going to overlook you. I'm not going to block you. And that's going to, yeah.
That's why I tell people to talk to people beforehand. If you talk to somebody and they say something that you don't agree with and you don't want to fuck them anymore, then you can just kind of fade away a little bit. But you
can't talk on these apps, and that's the whole point. It's that
I talk to people all the time on these apps.
Okay, but I feel like you give people a little bit more credit and time. I feel like we're reduced to like we were talking about on episode 686, marketing ourselves and our bodies and what we're into and what we're not into. Now we're putting what we're politically not into on our profile. And by the way, is that going to really get somebody to really want to fuck you? It's just like, it's ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous. And
Look, I can tell you another
yeah.
story.
I
So
mean, I could fuck a Republican
Mm.
tomorrow or tonight or
I hooked up with, I hooked
do
up
you
with
want to
this
vote for a
guy.
Republican? I'm looking over at you over here, and he's like nodding. Yeah, it's like, yeah, I don't need to know your political background, and it's just we're getting into this. I guess we're falling into the trap, and I'm going to analyze this a little bit more, and it's a good time to head over to our Patreon community because you get extra content. I'm going to write about this, but I want you guys to weigh in on some of this stuff because
Yeah.
when we
Let me
start
tell you my story.
allowing our politics, and yeah, please go.
Yeah. So I hooked up with this guy. I didn't know any of his politics or anything like that, but he had a delicious ass, and that's all I was really concerned with at the time. And I went over his house, slayed the shit out of him. It was amazing. We had such a chemistry. He doesn't normally give out his name or his Instagram or anything like that. He gave me. I got all of those things. I got everything. But I started following him on Instagram, and I noticed some of the things that he was espousing. I could not be aligned with, so I unfollowed him.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna fuck him again, and I think it's just something. So I get it. I understand if you can't align with somebody else on that level, but that's it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. No. Excellent points. Let's continue this conversation on our Tags Patreon community because it's a loaded one.
It is very charged. It is.
Yeah. Let's get into some advice. We gave some advice to a listener on episode 686, and you can always reach out to us. Go to tagspodcast.com. We'll give our handles at the end of this show, but I want to get into a couple of juicy ones that come from Reddit. And the first one, which one do you want to do first, Cody? Because we got to get to Thirst Trap. But
I know. Okay,
both,
so let's
right?
do the. We can hit both. Let's do it. You pick whichever one we're going to do first.
So, forewarning on this one of if you don't believe that domestic violence can happen within same-sex relationships, think again. As somebody wrote, just called the cops on my boyfriend of 3.5 years. Things got heated. He was drunk. He hit me across the face with a bag full of things, knocking my glasses off, my face, into grass a few feet away, leaving me with a bruise on the side of my nose. He kept accusing me of stealing his phone and refusing to give it to me, but in reality, it had flown out of the bag when he hit me. He vandalized my computer, threatened to destroy the laptop that belonged to my previous employer. I tried to get him to come with me to find the phone. I wasn't going to leave him alone in my apartment. He told me, go fetch, and refused with me. He was getting in my face. I finally snapped and called the police, and they arrested him. I regret ignoring prior red flags because I love him. I regret not ending things amicably. And he wanted to thank people for a lot of support. This is a really sensitive one that we really want. We talked about in our meeting too, that domestic violence can happen within same-sex relationships. And one of the things that I said was, we talked on episode 686 about this therapist that says when much of our community hasn't had a chance to deal with their feelings growing up or had examples of it, and we smashed it down, and now we're adults, there is a lot to unpack there. And if you're with somebody that hasn't dealt with any of that, and then you deal with two men and testosterone, I get it. But nobody deserves to be violated in any way. And we should probably direct people to a website, if you are in a situation like that, because it's a real thing. And we're not equipped to deal with it on the show. Maybe we'll get somebody on the show in a future episode to talk about this stuff. Love that. But just based on what you hear in this Reddit thread, and what are your thoughts?
I really hope that this person found it within themselves to completely dissolve this relationship and find help and support as far as processing all of this. Somebody can actually physically harm you. Somebody that says that they love you, if they can put their hands on you in that way, baby, they don't really love you. I think that it's something that is it's more prevalent in our community than we think it is. And I think that we should all be more cognizant of it and more empathetic to people that are going through this experience, because I don't know, I feel like a lot of gay people feel like this could never happen to them, and it happens all the time. So if this is happening to you, please seek support. Please reach out. We will list the places that you can go. I just actually Googled it so that we can list this on the TAG's website, because it's very serious.
Yes. Yeah, it is really serious. And we talked about, like, should we cover this? And because we're not equipped to really cover this, but we can direct people to services. And I get it. If you find yourself in a situation, you might find yourself at times making excuses for the other person, but being violated by somebody that you think you love is never an excuse. And you need to seek help for something like that. And from what I understand, it's never easy to seek that help because you love this person. And
yeah, I've known people that have
drugs or alcohol that is inducing this, you know, or anger issues. I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can get pretty fiery, but I would never put my hands on somebody. So. Like once you
we all have to check ourselves.
Oh yeah,
and I can get pretty fiery too, and it got me a little like as well, because I thought the same thing that you thought too, that in testosterone, like we're men dating in relationships with other men. At least that's what we're talking about, and that can bring up a whole lot of things. So
yeah.
It's real. We will post stuff. We're going to do a little bit more research and post some stuff on, if you find yourself in this situation, don't be afraid. There are sources out there. We will do our due diligence and follow up on this. And please go to tagspodcast.com for that. We wanted to do one more before we get into our last final segment, Thirst Trap, which has become one of our favorite segments of Wednesday night. But this one was also by a Redditor, and
it's so fun. I can't wait.
Yeah. So here's the headline. All I got to read is this. I could read a little bit more, but they wrote 34, period. Is 19 too young for a hookup? They explain their situation. They explain that they are in Malaysia. People are often closeted, and they said a whole lot of things. I don't even think we need to get into it, but one of my favorite comments was, check that ID.
Girl.
In our meeting, you're like, I don't want to get arrested. And I said, you know, we need those nowadays. I would say, okay, I need the front and back of your ID. Just scan that shit and send it to me. Then I wish when you go to a bar and they check your ID and they scan it, can we not buy one of those machines?
We need to be able to.
It would save a lot of people from going to jail, first and foremost, if you just bought that. There's now this thing on Amazon where you can check your heart out, like your rate, that basically it's an EKG. And there's this one company that you can now buy for not that much, and you can put your 2 fingers on there. It will check your EKG, and you can tell your heart rate, if you're going to have a heart attack or not. Why can't you have a similar machine like when you go to the bar where they swipe, and before you would just ask for their ID, and they said, yeah, maybe it's a fake. But when they got to your apartment, when you open up that door, you're a bar. And you just say ID, and you swipe it, it would just say, yep, they're 19 or whatever it is. They were born in this age. You do the math and figure they're legal beagle. And
I got to do math too.
Come in, get on all fours.
Green or red.
Get on all fours, whatever it is that we're talking about, and we can proceed. If it doesn't, wouldn't it save a lot of people from going to jail?
I think so.
Like, you can even market it on Amazon. Don't go to jail. Buy this machine. Swipe every person that you think is underage, and you will not go to jail. Simple. Done. I just saved a lot of people from going to jail. Done.
Done. Thank you, honey. Doug, it says that here in Pennsylvania, the age of consent is 16, which is way too young. And I could
Okay, well, now you're bragging,
Doug. That's wild to me. So, in aligned with what you were just saying, I feel like if you just take the boy to the bar, then you definitely know that that they're of age because they can get through the door in order to. So I'm going to tell the story. So I went to this party last week. It's a full week ago, and it was cute. It was a little hookup party, and I had some fun with several guys there. A couple of them gave me their Instagram, and then when I got back, I looked at this one person's Instagram who I actually, finished with, and and he looks so young. Like if we had been out in the world, I don't think that I would have even looked in his direction because he looks 19, but he was in the bar, so I know that he's over 21. So I think that's going to save people a lot of time. That's a little hack if you don't want to buy something on Amazon.
We can't, to your point, we can't judge people on looking young. I'm pretty sure, like myself, you've had a baby face for so long, and so did I.
And now I look like a man.
Yeah, I mean, it took a long time for me to look like a quote unquote a man or a daddy.
Yeah.
Like I was well into my early 40s and people were still like, So we can't base everything on that. Diego, watching us live, sitting next to me, our producer of the night, says, I'm glad I like older. A non-issue. I don't know how to take that one, but yeah.
Take it as a compliment, darling.
Yeah. Bryce, watching us live, says an 18-year-old once topped me and accidentally headbutted me in the face as he was plowing. One concussion. Oh no! I learned my lesson. Never again. But I checked his ID. See, yeah. Good. I just think if someone's putting that, check their ID. We know too much now. What was the story of last year that's made its way into this year? Austin Wolf and
oh girl.
And all of that. Just maybe that device doesn't exist, but check their ID. Do your due diligence, really. I mean, but back to the question, is that too young? If it's just sex, absolutely not. If they really are 19 or even 18, or in your case, Doug, Pennsylvania, 16, it is not. It is not. Just go by the law. And do your due diligence. Go by the law.
Go by your own law.
If you go by the law and you do your due diligence, you have nothing to worry about. I
can't agree with that. Go by your own law. I'm sorry. 16
Lastly, is too young for me. 2 minutes to get into this last thing. It's called Thirst Trap. It's produced by Straight Up Gay Porn. Who took the best photo of the week by these not suitable for work photos? 12 gay porn stars took who took the best photo? It's our job on an audio podcast to describe why. Cody, who do you pick and why?
I'm going to pick Austin Wilde. He is
of completely naked. You always pick him.
He's my favorite. I also like Malik too, though. So, and also Gio Scar. They're also hot, but I don't know who to pick.
Tell me which one you pick. You pick him?
I'm going to pick Gio Scar.
Diego, sitting next to me, my fiance, goes with Sunny Valentine. Ooh. And yes, he pointed to his feet. I love feet. And he has that nice tattoo. Oh, I'm okay. You're rubbing off. Yeah, I actually like that too. The angle of that is
Sunny really Valentine.
Sunny Valentine. Yeah,
I do not agree. I'm sorry, y'all.
And I didn't have enough time to really look at this, but Gio Scar gets mine because is that dick really that thick? That head?
Is it really that big? It's uncut.
It's kind of crazy. Woo! If it really is, I vote for that. But I like Gio Scar. We'll post this on tagspodcast.com, or better yet, go to our Patreon community where I'll post. You can watch this episode. You can listen to it. I'll put show notes, and we'll post this link as well. Don't forget to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and give us a good review because inevitably, Apple Podcasts people love to tear us apart. They just love to tear us apart on that.
What?
But I encourage you, if you like this show, please rate and review us with a positive one. It's just the name of the game, how it works. And You can follow Cody on the gram at Mr. Maurice. Don't forget to download his single, I Don't Want to Fight, wherever you get your music. It's out now. It's a summer jam. Follow me on the gram. I am _Steve V. And in the meantime, continue having hot gay sex.